What's going on, everybody? We are back. It is week 3 in the Man Cave. Glad everybody is back with us. We've got a lot to cover this week. Obviously, there's a lot that happened over the last week in sports. Had to delay a day, but we are here. Just real quick, though, I do want to go over some of our numbers. We are running a pick'em contest, and currently, right now, we had Miss Conflicted sitting at 62% correct. She's got 41 right and 25 wrong over the last couple of weeks. We got Ginger Gage sitting at 57%. Let's see, Jessa Lynn at 56, Cryptic at 39, and it just goes down from there. So hopefully some of you guys can start picking up some numbers here. We start getting some good wins, some good competition. Yeah, let's get back with our panelists here and get started. See what everybody has got going on. What's going on, everybody? Okay, don't anybody talk at once. What is up?
Yo.
What? So, I don't think, Ben, you're playing fantasy at all this year. Gage, how did your team do this week?
Oh, I'm 3-0.
3-0?
I'm gonna win the ship, 100%.
Okay, so how many games have you actually won?
I'm 3-0.
Okay, so all right, how many other teams besides you are in your?
Oh my god, my mic has been off this whole time. You gotta be kidding me.
That's normal.
GG.
Okay, man.
Well played.
Yeah,
We know
well
you're a pro
played.
streamer. We know
So-
I forgot that I hit the button on the bottom.
He's the imposter.
Yeah,
him outta
I'm
here.
the imposter. Get him out of here.
Well, I mean, that's the way it goes with Ben, though.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much used
Welcome
to
to
that.
my life.
It's 3-0. I'm actually sitting at 2-1. Old Mahomie decided to come through for me Monday.
Yeah. Yes, he
Thankfully.
did. He came big for me too. Scored me $115 on first touchdown. I'll take that all day long.
Oh yeah.
It's the only bet he'll ever win all year. But
No. I'm
What?
up. I won Kansas State game. I won. Let's see
That
what
was a
else.
miracle. Let's be real.
Hey, whatever. Hey, it was.
Can it
in
be a miracle if
Oklahoma.
it's 2 years in a row?
This is true.
Exactly.
We can let's
Exactly.
discuss that stat real quick. We'll just kind of jump around here a little bit. The stat was Kansas State is 0-2 against G5 schools, group of 5. So
Uh-huh.
the MAC and all those teams. But they're 2-0 against Oklahoma. And by the way, Oklahoma was ranked both times.
So Oklahoma's a G2 or G5 school.
Yeah, I mean that's by definition that's what it's got to
But
be.
yeah,
right.
Yeah, sure.
So I mean that.
Um,
So they're technically 2-2 against G5 schools.
so you hear this all the time. Is it a method of them playing up to their competition, or a method of OU playing down to their level? I mean, Statler or whatever.
Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler. Yeah. I mean, he didn't have a horrible game, but I mean, he threw 2 picks.
Well, I mean,
you can't do that.
It just goes to show that you can't just throw somebody into a Heisman race, based on a game against a
Right.
FCS school or equivalent.
Wasn't
wait.
it that game where we had the worst interception of all time also? That
Well,
backwards passes, he's being tackled, just weirdness.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, it's a crazy weekend college football this week.
This is true. You had
So many
course-
things happened.
Oklahoma, and then you had LSU decide to lose to. Granted, LSU lost a lot of players
No excuse.
and
You're
are
consistently
definitely
having
well overrated and overly ranked than what they
consistently
should be.
having one of the top like recruiting classes over the last 5 years. There's no reason why they should have lost that game. It doesn't matter that they lost Joe
No.
Burrow. It doesn't matter that they lost Justin Jefferson.
No.
I don't. It doesn't. Randy Moss is Thaddeus Moss, right? That was his name. Doesn't matter. You lose that bad to miss was it
To a
Mississippi
Mississippi
State?
school. I forget on a
Yeah.
daily basis that Mississippi's even a state. Like I forget it's even existing. I mean, that's
You're like-
Mississippi
You're like 2 doors down.
is like
Right.
legit the joke of like that entire region, between like Alabama, Louisiana, like those
Mhm.
kind of states.
it's the Wake
Mississippi's
Forest
the
of the SEC.
You know what? That's pretty damn accurate, actually.
And then that would make Ole Miss, I don't know, Duke.
Either way, both Mississippi schools are just they are in a tough room for competition, and as a state in a whole, they're just it could be a running joke, just like Alabama with kissing cousins and brother uncles.
But is that really a joke though? If it's true,
No, I guess you're right. It's not a joke
Gotcha.
because
Glad
I
nobody
mean,
watches this.
like, oh boy, hold up. Let me text my buddy Robert. He's from Alabama. Let me see how his
well,
brother uncle's doing.
in Alabama, they pronounce you husband and wife. But anyways,
Yeah.
Go on.
oh,
Fuck.
Miss State's QB threw for what? Well, it's almost 600 yards.
Yeah, I mean,
that high?
he aired it out. What did he throw it like 60? No. Let me look at here.
I mean, it was up there. He set the record.
623, 5 touchdowns, and 2 picks.
Yeah.
36 for 60. He threw the ball 60
Yeah,
times.
60 times. Yeah. I thought it was
Obviously, he's the next Heisman. No one's ever heard of him, but he's the next Heisman.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
KJ Costello. Yeah, sure, whoever that is.
Yeah, that guy.
I mean, he's on track to be like. Well, I mean, he keeps throwing picks. I mean, that he's going to be like Jameis Winston 2.0 at some point, right?
You'd think.
I mean-
Mr. Knoll.
Well, I mean, he
Oh,
didn't
look
throw
at-
that many interceptions for us. He only did it for Tampa Bay.
Uh,
He didn't learn until he got down there.
oh, okay, all right. So it's
Yeah.
Tampa's fault that he became the
2
pick
hours
16.
south made all the difference in the world.
I'm just super excited that whenever ESPN makes this 30 for 30 called 30 for 30, I'm waiting for it.
Yes.
That's going to be great. That's going to be great. Well, then you had. It was nice to see the SEC come back.
Yeah, some real football, with the exception of LSU.
Well,
Shitting the bed.
quite literally, that was
Yes.
absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I almost put money on that game though too, just because the line was so high.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like-
I'm sure the line was big. I'm sure
It was like if I would have put money on it, that would have been another $150. Like $5 bet, $150. I mean, what?
I did see a
But-
story. Apparently Auburn lost. Well, they had a QB transfer out that was highly touted, supposed to be somebody that they wanted to have, but he ended up just sitting the bench. So they quote unquote in Auburn terms, too much talent. Apparently he got cleared by the NCAA, so he's going to be starting to play for Kentucky immediately. So that may end up being a big game
Like
changer for them.
season they can do that?
It's
Yep.
Yeah.
SEC
So-
just cleared
So
him.
he's sitting on a bench, loses to Kentucky, and he's like, "I'm gonna go play for that school."
I'm gonna go make that school a little bit better.
Well, I think he
Maybe.
transferred in the
Oh.
off season. Yeah, he transferred in the off season,
Okay.
but was on the bubble for eligibility, and
Gotcha.
the NCAA cleared him, but he still had to wait for the SEC to clear him. And apparently, at some point today, they ended up clearing him, so he's going to start or at least be playing for Kentucky the rest of the year. So that's going to be kind of an interesting story to watch. Just going to see how that works out for them because Kentucky's going to need a shot if they want to.
Yeah, they're not
Compete.
professional athletes at all. That doesn't sound at all like
Right.
trade issues and mid-season transfer, mid-season trades.
Right.
Man,
No, and they're not getting paid to do it either, supposedly.
I mean,
But
I mean, legally they somewhat can now.
somewhat,
Ish.
kind of.
not really.
Yeah.
It's a vague area. We're still not sure.
We don't want to throw them under the bus, that's for sure.
So yeah,
Oh.
SEC football's definitely back though. Florida looks great. Alabama
Again,
looks like Alabama.
Florida played Duke of the SEC. I mean,
And you're not biased against Florida at all, Mr.
Yeah.
Florida State.
Yeah.
not at all.
They dropped. If you drop 50 points and throw 6 touchdowns as a QB, like it doesn't matter who you're playing.
Yeah.
But you were playing in the Special Olympics.
No. Playing the Special Olympics is that they were playing FSU.
No, that's worse than that.
Oh,
That's playing
burn.
against the blind kids, okay?
Golly.
The ones who
Remember-
actually can't play at the Special Olympics.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, 52-10 against Miami this past week. Oof.
I mean, we put up 10.
Yeah, you sure did.
It wasn't
and-
scoreless. Let's just remember a few years back, Florida could only put up 2 points on us. But anyways, we can move on from there.
They're just tanking for Trevor.
Is that how that works?
Well, apparently
maybe
Trevor.
for Florida, man.
Well, I mean, shit. Maybe he could transfer mid-season. I mean, I guess that's a thing now. So
Right? I don't want to
I
hear
already
it.
won a
Something
national
else.
championship with that team. I'm gonna go over here. I'll make this team better in mid-season.
So apparently the Pac-12 has decided to finally join the fray.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
still going to try to fit their games in.
Yeah, what 7 games? I think they said.
Yeah, then they try expanding the playoffs. Get out of here with that.
Now the playoffs have been set to 4. It will not expand at all.
Yeah, but the Pac-12 was the one trying to push for it coming in.
Well,
Them,
I mean,
the Mountain West, and I can't remember who else is in on that. But why? No, stop it. It's going to be tough enough as it is this season. Don't go adding more drama and BS to it.
Right.
I mean, you got enough. You got all these other teams that are putting themselves at risk to play. How is it fair for you to wait several more weeks and then expect everybody else to cater to you? That just doesn't work.
Exactly.
Like that. It
I mean,
does
let's
not
be
work.
real.
But I
Does
felt like
any
that's
team-
what the Big Ten did too. I mean, really, they hovered as long as they possibly could until like, okay, yeah, we need to go ahead and start.
But the Big Ten didn't come in and say, "Hey, we want to expand now because we want to have a better chance of, getting our teams into the championship." They're
That's
like,
true.
"Okay, we're just going to come in and in our few weeks that we have, see what we can do to try to compete for that." And they already knew that they may not make that, so they decided to do a co-championship, still and all that for their conference title, which is really about all they're good for, anyways.
Huh.
But the other big one was what, Texas and Texas Tech. That was
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Texas, who in their first game was looking like, oh, they can be serious, for the Big 12, and Sam Ellinger looking like a possible Heisman, candidate, and they had to go to overtime against Texas Tech, who's not necessarily a good team.
Yeah, but look at the score on that thing. Even though it's an overtime, I mean,
again, it's Texas Tech.
It's Texas Tech. I mean, like I know I don't-
119 points are scored in that game.
there's no reason for that.
But all we've
And
heard
there's-
the last since he went to Texas, all we ever heard of was Ellinger. He's going to be the greatest. He's this great, But
Yeah, but he can't play defense. I mean, I'm talking about 63-56. That's what I'm talking about. Like, how you as Texas, who's supposed to be a power conference school, gonna have a defense that's allowing, an unranked team. Now, granted, it's Texas Tech. They've always been known to run up scoreboard, right, because of their offensive power force or whatever. But I just don't like.
Yeah, but the coach who the what was it called, the air raider offense, I think that's what the
Right.
term. He's not there anymore. He's
No, he's not. Yeah,
he's over at Washington State, wherever. What's his name?
no, he
Minshew.
left there. He's
not
are you
there
talking
anymore?
about Leach?
Yeah,
Talking about Leach? Yeah, he's not there anymore.
He's not
He's
there
in the
anymore either.
SEC, I think.
I don't know, dude. These guys hop around like every other year.
Right.
well,
I mean,
Yeah.
Florida State can't decide who they want to keep as a coach either. So
Well, we decided we wanted to put ours on the bench and see what we could do with the backup coaches, and that didn't
Yeah.
work out very
But
well. So
Not to mention
Isn't-
you're paying another guy like $7 million this year to not even coach for you. So
Isn't Mike Leach the
I don't
man who
think we're
just
paying
beat
him.
LSU? Isn't he at Mississippi State now?
Yeah,
I remember
he is.
just seeing
Yes.
his name.
That's it.
because he
that's
made the
exactly what it was.
statement. He made
Yes.
the statement that the only reason why they played LSU was because what was it? Green Bay, Kansas City, and the Patriots were all already
Yeah.
that's where he
booked.
did. He is
Yep.
Yeah.
smug. He's a smug motherfucker. That guy.
He is.
Yeah, but that's awesome. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I can live with that. But I mean, that was just a crap show of a game. I mean, both sides were interception ridden, and
Oh yeah.
it was just. Let's see. Texas gave up 3 fumbles, or 1 fumble. Texas Tech gave up 3. I mean,
Not
that,
to mention the 3 interceptions thrown by Texas Tech. The
Yeah.
fact that Texas wasn't running away with this game
Mhm.
just showcases that they're obviously their defense. Yeah, they can create turnovers, or maybe Texas Tech is just that bad. Sorry about that, chat.
Texas's defense needs some serious.
It's
I didn't realize the turnover margin was that high.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they should have been running away with this, and that Texas Tech could still stay in the game. Obviously, Texas defense.
I mean,
is
so
not that good.
Texas had 476 yards total. Texas Tech had 447. All right.
With that score.
Time of possession, Texas 34-39, Texas Tech 25-21.
Just quick touchdowns.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, Ellinger, well, but you still hold the ball for 9 minutes longer
Mm-hmm.
than Texas Tech. You barely put up more yards than they did. I mean, that just, and you're supposed to be ranked number 8 in the country.
And
With-
he had 5 touchdowns. I mean, it's not like he didn't.
They were short yards, though. I mean, they weren't very long. 12,
sometimes
18.
short ones are the harder ones, depending on the defense. Obviously, there was no defense being played in this
Yeah.
game, so
I mean, they also
that's
finished
not a-
with 214 rushing yards. So
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
and
they-
Texas did
they
have a
can run down
2-yard.
and then just dink and dunk. I mean, Mike Evans this past week had 2 touchdowns for 2 yards.
He had the what was
2
it the
receptions.
the triple double, the 2
triple
yards,
double,
2
two
receptions,
yeah.
and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, and he ended up popping off too, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
He definitely had a good game, but I mean, it is good to have the SEC back. It's gonna really open
Mhm.
up the recruit or the ranking system, I think, a little bit more. You can
Yeah.
throw the Pac-12 in. Nobody really cares, but
I
you know,
guess. I mean,
special
there's only
mention,
one
I
or two
guess.
schools really.
I mean,
that might
Anyone really cares
juggle
about.
it. Yeah.
I mean,
Oregon,
you got
Did you-
Oregon, and then
did you
maybe Wisconsin
see-
or USC.
I just was going through the games. Did you see the Army player that headbutted the coach? and
headbutt his
almost
own
knocked
coach.
him out?
That coach was
He-
100% asking for it.
Oh yeah.
He came up
Bumped
like
him
he wanted
hard.
that headbutt.
Yeah.
That wasn't on the player.
I mean, they are the Army, so I mean, kind of expected, right?
Yeah.
Hoorah.
It was good. It definitely was a good week for college football. I mean, my Syracuse Orange won, so that was phenomenal. So glad that
Yeah, they
pulled that out.
beat somebody you lost to 2 weeks ago, didn't they? Who was it? Georgia
Who?
Tech, Technical Institute of Georgia, something like
No,
that.
this was the first time
No.
Syracuse played Georgia Tech this year. So I don't know how could they have lost to them and then played and beat them. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Look,
And then
if
you have the-
Ben can be a fan of every NFL team when they win,
I'm
then
not
I
a
should be able to be
NFL
a Syracuse fan when they
fanboy.
win.
I mean, you got
I
like
am-
5 or 6 teams you named last
Listen,
week. Let's be
listen.
real.
Who's it going to
Okay,
add this week? The
I'm-
Raiders?
Hold on. First of all, Gage,
No,
have you
no,
ever
no.
moved? Hold on. Give me a second. Have you ever moved out of your area, Gage?
I've always lived in Florida. I went from Tampa
Exactly.
to Orlando. so-
Okay. So I have lived in Kansas, which is where I grew up. I lived in Denver for 7 years, and I've lived in Indianapolis. Other than living in San Diego, which is when I was in the military, I count that, but not like as a sports thing. I worked in the bar industry. So you had to root for the team to make money for local. You had to. Now, granted, I grew up an Eagles fan because I've just always been an Eagles fan, but I also supported the Chiefs because of my family. And then I just supported Denver when I was out there because I wanted to make money in the bar, and I support Indy because I want to make money in the bar when I work there too. So, boom. That's my story.
mean,
I'm sticking to it.
But all right,
You can always settle on one though. You can have your
Oh, I'm
work
settled
teams
on
and
one. Like my number one team, the only team I own jerseys for is Philadelphia Eagles,
okay.
and they're old school jerseys like
but
Westbrook.
the rest of that
McNabb.
stuff is literally the definition of bandwagon.
You're right, for money. I'm
Oh,
a money
so
you're
whore
a
he is a
sports whore.
bandwagon.
Gotcha.
He's a
Yeah.
bandwagon hooker.
That's good.
Yes, for money.
I'm gonna
When
go
I'm
ahead and get that
bartending.
shirt made.
Yes, please do. You can even I'll even once Michael gets done with my logo, I'll even send it to you so you can put it on there.
Bandwagon hooker. That's a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. So,
Anyways.
what Gage is dying to talk about?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that doesn't say Stanley Cup champions on it yet, though.
Oh, I
You
was going
haven't
to talk
won
about
it
Doc
out in the
Rivers
new-
getting fired.
Oh no. This is a hat
Oh.
I've had for a while, so
Oh, okay.
it's on order. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
We'll run through the other lesser news before we get to the good stuff because
Gotcha,
I want
Yeah,
Gage to
okay,
piss
okay.
himself with anticipation.
All right, guys.
So, Doc Rivers.
Is this when you come out of the closet? I just want to make sure I record fast.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Are you not recording?
Oh, well, I mean, like, clip it.
Clip it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clip it, chat. I'll come out of the closet after.
We've all got
these
mods. We're
lesser
good.
things.
Right.
All right.
All right. What
So
do you got?
NBA. We'll go over NBA real quick, and then
Yeah,
we'll get
because,
to the
you
juicy
know,
stuff.
there's like 3 people in the world that care about the NBA. So,
All right. So biggest news, other than the finals, is Doc Rivers getting fired from LA Clippers after a very disappointing and upsetting season that had very high expectations for them.
I mean, they got Kawhi Leonard and what, Paul George?
And Paul
And
George.
they got rid of everybody.
They probably had the deepest bench
Yeah.
of any other team. Like a lot of veterans, a lot of role players that know their role and are good in their role. But when push came to shove, Paul George, playoff P as he called himself, he disappeared.
Shit
That
the
man
bed.
was horrendous. Game 7, Kawhi disappeared, probably because he was tired of carrying that team, which I don't blame him because load management. He can't do that in the playoffs. Like
No, he
does in
knows
the
how
regular
Chris
season.
Paul felt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So yeah, I mean, like, I hate that they blame Doc Rivers here. I hate that they fired him because he is a really good coach. And he's probably going to go to, if I had to guess, I think the 76ers are probably the
Oh,
best fit
100%.
for him.
Yeah, they're currently discussing. in
Yeah.
He'll
talks
be
right
there
now.
for 3
Oh,
years,
I
then he'll
just
end up
saw
in
it.
a big team
Yeah,
again.
I mean, if Doc Rivers doesn't, it's going to be Ty Lue. I think Ty Lue was probably their primary until the Doc Rivers stuff
Doc
happened.
Rivers firing. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did see that New Orleans was on the trail for him as well. They were trying to pick up
For Doc Rivers?
Mhm.
Yeah, if I was Doc Rivers, I would never take that job. That's a terrible job.
I mean, unless you just want to be an alcoholic.
Yeah. I
Wait,
mean,
that's an
It's
option?
just-
You have to want
I
to?
think, right.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, New Orleans is the
it's
management down there. There's so many.
they've got a
questionable
flashiness
things.
to them right now because they
Right.
have Zion and they have
Yeah.
some
I'm not
other
sold
young
on the kid.
stars, but
But
yeah,
Most
we'll
of
see.
the country.
he's
is.
good. But dude, I'm in the sports card collecting world. Basketball is like my number one thing, and you could sell an autographed Zion for a pretty chunk of change right now.
Yeah, he's
But
flashy.
he's flashy, but he's also he's injury prone, and we've already seen it so far. And he has issues sometimes with right now. Well, he was when they were playing. He was in pretty good shape, but he goes on those binges where he puts on some weight, and you're asking
Yeah.
for
He's
more injuries.
He's a young
And-
kid, he's
Yeah.
what 19, 20 years old.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
he's gonna have to get some discipline.
Yep.
But yeah, I would not want to take that job if I was Doc Rivers.
no.
I go for 76ers. It's a for sure playoff team. Try to make
He's got
Embiid
Joel.
and
He'll try to figure out a way to
Ben
better.
Simmons, get them
Yep.
guys like figured out. I think Ben Simmons, even though he's a great point guard as far as his passing ability
He just
and
can't
driving
shoot.
ability, he can't shoot. He can't shoot, man. He's a 6 foot 9 point guard, 6'10" point
Yeah.
guard or whatever.
Well,
Well,
oh,
there we go.
Did I cut
He's
out?
back.
There you go.
yeah,
I'm back.
You're back.
But yeah, he can't do anything on the perimeter. So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, and that's the
he's-
thing. Is like, what do you do with that? I mean, you have to surround him by shooters,
Yep.
and they've tried that, and it hasn't worked. I
Like,
mean, a little bit,
um,
but
like in
I mean,
reality, like a perfect situation for like a Ben Simmons is if he was surrounded by shooters in like a Golden State. Like obviously Steph Curry's
Yep.
the point guard there, but like that kind of talent around him, that's
Right.
where he would shine with his passing ability, and then he could have the lane cleared out because he does drive in.
Right.
He does it very well. He's very big as for a
Yeah.
point guard. So, but yeah, so Doc Rivers, that would probably be his best bet, I would think.
The thing
Yeah.
is with the Sixers, will they finally give in and let the coaches just do what they want? It seems like they never build around a player since pretty much AI. Like Michael Carter Williams had his rookie season, got rid of him the next season?
I
Yeah,
feel
he
like
was only
they've
there
done
for
a
3
pretty
years,
good
I think.
job with Embiid and Simmons. I mean,
Yeah, but think about all the
Yeah, but
other
that
top
was
picks other than
drafting
those guys.
well.
Nerlens and Well, gone. He's on Oklahoma
Right.
City, I believe. If I'm
but
not mistaken.
he flopped. Like he didn't produce.
What's the other one? Julia Okafor. I mean,
Again, another one
they
that
yeah,
didn't
but
produce.
that's because they get all these top picks and trust in the process and their process, other than hitting on Simmons to an extent and Embiid, who's injury prone.
Yes.
Right. They just don't give them
they
supporting
didn't-
cast. There's nobody building around any players. It's insane up there.
and think of all the people who they sent off who are good. I mean, TJ McConnell. I mean, he was a good role player. He was a
Yeah.
shooter. He was great in that system. But then
We
they
like
signed,
him here in Indy.
yeah. I mean, they signed Tobias Harris to a max contract, and that was a
He
terrible
could,
move.
I don't know. I mean, he could kind of shoot for a big guy. I mean, he's not bad. I think again, like you were saying, he's a role player. I don't think he's.
He's not a max contract type guy.
Oh,
They should have.
no, he's not. No, he's definitely not that.
So, but yeah, I think that's the best situation for Doc, and he'll strive there, and he'll bring in who he needs to bring in. Plus, he's a players coach, so any free agents are going to be out there, or more than likely going to want to go out there to play with him.
Plus,
that's
if you have Ben Simmons and
That makes me
Embiid
wonder
still
though.
locked up there.
Makes me wonder though. Was there a front office issue with the 70s or with the Clippers that led to their season just flopping off like that? Like maybe there were players that he wanted or something, some setup that he wanted, and they just didn't get it for him.
I think it's just because of the high expectations, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's LA.
he's been there for quite some time. He had all stars with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, um, what's his name, DeAndre Jordan. When they were all in their prime together for the most part, and they didn't really get anything out of that. And now they had Kawhi Leonard, who's viewed as one of the top players, obviously, in the league, despite its load management. And then Paul George, who's been an NBA star for quite some time and should have been a great second fiddle to Kawhi, and they didn't produce. I mean, it was only 1 year, but which is kind of hard to get chemistry sometimes. I mean, you've seen it with the Heat in their first year. They got to the finals, but then they got smashed by the Mavericks because they only had so much time together.
Yeah, and you gotta have time, and you can't just rely on your coach to. I mean, you can't force the guys to mesh.
Yeah, you
That
can create a
takes time.
culture, but it takes time to build greatness. It doesn't happen overnight. The pyramids weren't built overnight.
Are you sure? Were you there?
You're right. I don't know.
What
It
about
was
the aliens?
the aliens. I forgot. My bad.
So game tipping off here in just a couple minutes. We got Lakers and Heat starting off. I mean, what are you guys thinking?
I think the Lakers will probably end up pulling it.
It's going to be a great series.
You think so?
I think it's
I
gonna
got
be-
Lakers in 5.
I don't think it's going to be like that.
I just don't. I don't see. I don't see them being able. LeBron, he just, as much as people want to hate on him, he'll go into overdrive for this, and he'll take it over.
I will say one thing in the playoffs for LeBron, because I know we're going to talk about this here in a second. But it obviously ties into the finals. But LeBron through these playoffs, he's had games where he's gone out, he scored 30 plus. He's
Yeah.
had games where he's gone out, and he scored 12, 15 points. But his assists and his rebounds always been high on each game.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason for that is because leading up into this moment, going into the finals, he's trying to help his teammates around him, other than AD, like get a little bit of confidence, right? Because
Right.
if he through the entire playoffs, if he would have been hardcore every single game, he would have gotten to these finals and he would have been gassed, right?
Yep.
We talk about Father Time eventually kept catching up with LeBron. I mean,
Yeah.
I think for him that was part of his mentality. Like, if I do what I've done every single playoffs for the last 9 years, I'm not going to be able to do it this time around.
Yep.
And that's why you saw like Rondo, you saw Kuzma like finally step up in a couple games. Not Danny Green, but Danny Green's he was supposed to be such a good addition. He was just trash. But yeah, I mean, you see these guys.
He can
step up.
only shoot, and even that is skipped sometimes, right? I mean, if he's on, he's on. He's dropping them. But
Dwight Howard stepped up a lot,
yeah, yeah,
and yeah. So I think that was kind of whole Lakers mentality. Like, let's let LeBron kind of help his teammates around him, and then when we get to the finals, if he needs to take over, he's going to, and he will drop 35 a game if he needs to.
yep.
But he's gonna need to.
I don't,
We'll see. I think Jimmy
I don't
Butler's
know.
going to give him some hard time, but I'm excited to see that matchup.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good series. I'm kind of anxious to see that. Moving on, we'll go ahead and just get out of the way because I'm just like a little schoolgirl over there needs to
Oh, yeah.
go to the bathroom here.
Yes.
I mean, I am a Lightning fan, but
Yep.
But
But
this
you
guy,
think my theory is outrageous, don't you?
yes, 100%.
Yes,
It's okay.
absolutely.
It's okay. It's okay. So we're gonna go over this real quick, guys. So, chats of all of the streamers here. This past week, Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup. Wonderful
Which I'm
series.
extremely happy about, because
Yep.
if it involves the word Dallas, I hate it. So
so does
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas Stars lost. It was a game 6, right?
It was Game 6. Victor
6, yeah.
Hedman ended up with Series
Hedman,
MVP.
Yep. And then
it sucked that Stamkos couldn't come back.
But he did.
Well, I mean, he came back for one
a
game,
minute 30,
but he-
game, but he scored a goal.
but he couldn't come back for the other 2 games, which sucks
Yeah,
because I mean,
which sucks.
right.
side note, I don't. How much longer is he gonna be able to play?
Yeah, he's been injured so much lately.
So I mean, it kind of sucks that you're coming down to what could possibly be your last series, your last season, your last everything,
Yeah,
and
right.
you
And
just
not
can't
get to
even
play.
make it onto the court, or onto the ice.
Ice, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of disappointing and everything for him, but hey, he got 1 goal in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the team won. And if you watch the ceremony, even the commissioner, he's like, "This one's for Steven Stamkos," and then you hear the rest of the team yell "Stammer," and that was a really heartwarming moment, because that is their captain, and he has been one of the best players in the league for most of his career. Up until these last 2 or 3 when he's been injured, even when he was on the ice after healing from those injuries, still a threat every single time he was on the ice.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and just a presence alone of somebody that commanding for your team as well as the opponent, and we touched on this last week. I mean that does volumes for your momentum.
Yeah. So yeah, Lightning won, and I'm calling it now, chats. Trifecta of championships in Tampa this year.
Nope.
I will even go stretch slightly about, and I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna look on my DraftKings account and see if I can find that as an option, and I'll put money on that for you.
Thank you. I will
But-
gladly take the winnings from it.
No, you won't. Actually, I will make a donation to Ginger Gauge Gaming of whatever
20,000
percentage
stars.
to whatever charity you want. No, I'm kidding.
I am the charity.
What's your kid's name again?
Charity.
Yeah, charity.
Yeah,
Put it
charity.
through college fund.
Right. But seriously, I will even put it. I will give the Bucks no chance at winning, but your Rays maybe, because they have been playing some damn good baseball.
Yeah,
The Rays.
baseball
Okay.
is possible. NFL, I don't see it.
Yeah. So Rays.
I'm not. I'm sorry. Your team played a trash Denver Broncos team, and wasn't that good of a game.
We dominated the entire game.
You
Which we
did.
should
You
have.
won, but was it?
But it's the Denver
played a great game.
Broncos. You should have put up 60. Wait, no, that's right.
They don't
That's
need
the
to-
age of
they don't
Brady. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so first I'll hit the Rays because they're the first possible next champion for the Tampa Bay area. Okay. So the Rays finished first in the American League. All right. They just won game 2 of a 3-game series. They're moving on to the next round.
Against a team from Buffalo.
True.
But yeah, so we just beat Toronto.
You mean Buffalo? The Buffalo Blue Jays?
Yeah.
The Buffalo Blue Jays, yeah. So we just beat Toronto. But honestly, like if you look at the past year or two, the Rays have always had issues with the Blue Jays for whatever reason, no matter how trash the Blue Jays have been. It's just been a weird matchup for us for some reason. We've let their pitchers in the last 2 years throw no hitters against us for whatever reason. It's weird. But yeah, so it's okay. We got on to the next round. We'll see who we're playing once some of these other games finish up. I've heard people say, "Oh, if you guys play the Yankees, you're gonna lose."
It'll be a
played-
tight series for the home and homes, but the Yankees on
Yeah.
the road are trash.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter in that sense because it's from this point on, it's all neutral site.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
So that doesn't
Man,
matter.
that's hard to
There's
get used to.
There's no
Right.
fans. Yeah, I know this
Right.
whole COVID thing's weird, but there's no fans, right? So again, zero advantage in that sense. And this year, the Rays have played the Yankees 10 times. The Yankees have only won 2
Yep.
of those matches.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, I see no reason as to why the Rays won't be the American League representative in the World Series this year. And their pitching staff, bearing any injury coming up, they're the best pitching staff. Starting pitching staff and their bullpen is fantastic.
I mean, Yankees put up what 12 point? Yeah, it was like 12 or 13 runs last night on Cleveland, and they're down bottom of the second right now, 4-1. Like they can't find any consistency in any
They're
aspect.
they're streaky as hell.
of their
Yeah.
game, and it's
Well,
and
you know,
a
yeah,
lot
but
of
the
that probably
record
still
against
has to
Cleveland.
do with injuries, but you gotta find a way to fill those holes.
well, I mean, when you have the biggest payroll in baseball, because there is no salary cap in baseball, there is legit zero reason the Yankees should not be first seed every single year in the American League. The
No.
Rays have a small fraction of their payroll compared to the Yankees. I think they're bottom 5 in the league, if I'm not mistaken. And we seem to, for the last 3 years or so, been really good. And this year, we have been the best.
So
I-
does that mean that you guys are working together better and want it more?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
those
yeah.
players in the field want to get paid next season or the season
Yeah,
after.
Right.
so
They're working
So
their asses off.
basically, the Rays system is a farm system for the rest of the MLB. They get some really good prospects. They make them really good. They showcase them in the MLB against great talent to be really good.
Sounds
And
like the
then they go
Braves of the
somewhere-
'90s.
Yeah,
Right.
and then they go somewhere else and they get paid a lot of money and then they're trash.
Mm-hmm.
David Price, that happened to. Evan Longoria, granted he was older when he left.
I was gonna say he was
that
old.
happened too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
but
what 11 years in, 12 years in. or something?
yeah, he was deep in the tooth, but yeah, that has happened for plenty. James Shields, he was still good in Kansas City when he left, but not Matt Garza. These are all players who were in their prime with the Rays and had great talent, and then they go somewhere else and get a big payday, and they're just not living up to it. So yeah, I mean the Rays just have great staffs, and have a great farm system, and I'm hoping that we can have some magic and get to the World Series and not get swept like we did in 2008.
How bad is it going to be for baseball if Houston wins it again this year?
They're not.
I mean, they won their series against Minnesota, and I mean, they're going. I understand it
is
was against Minnesota,
but
but I'm
If-
just saying there's still a chance. They're still in it.
there's a chance it could happen. I really don't see it happen. Not just because of the Rays are in the same division as them, but I don't think they can match up with the NL staffs. The National League has some really good teams. The
Yeah.
Dodgers is probably the favorite right now to win the series. If I had, I mean, I don't know what the bet line is, but if I had to guess, it's probably the Dodgers are number one.
Drama wise, though, I'm here for it. Let them keep playing.
be interesting to see how many people get hit with a baseball. But anyways,
Hopefully, all of them.
all of them.
All of them.
Side note: Atlanta last night, 14 innings before they finally got a run. It's so far it's the longest postseason game without
13,
with
but yeah,
13 innings.
Yeah.
Longest postseason game without a single score. Like it was against Cincinnati,
yeah.
which is dumpster fire versus dumpster fire. 'Cause Atlanta hasn't
Yeah.
been able to have a good roster, and
I mean, they got a couple of decent prospects, and they got the Acuna and those guys that are coming up. But I mean, you can't base
Freddie
it
Freeman's a
solely off.
baller.
Yeah,
and so is Markakis and those guys.
He's probably
but I
gonna
mean,
win. Yeah, he's probably gonna win MVP.
Albies but the problem again, like with the Braves though, is that they have, like with Tampa Bay, they always bring in all these great kids, and they're there for a couple years, and then
yep. They go somewhere to get
they
paid.
farm them off, and then they'll bring somebody else in instead of actually building a solid team. I mean, Freeman's been there
Travis
probably the longest
Jankowski.
out of the whole roster.
Yeah, most likely. That sounds about right. I mean, being a Tampa fan, we see people come and go. Honestly, I'm very surprised that Blake Snell signed a contract with us after winning his Cy Young Award 2 years ago.
Right.
Usually someone gets an award like that, and they're trying to go to the Yankees, they're trying to go to Boston, they're trying to go LA. I mean, heck, even for whatever reason, the Padres have deep pockets these days.
Yeah,
9
they're
left
losing
in the
7.
first.
No, they just lost.
They lost, yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
lost.
We got 8.5 left in the first, and Miami's up 10-5.
But yeah, so
That's gonna be an interesting game. But
the
yeah,
Rays, I think, have a legit chance of winning the series. Now the Bucks, obviously, we're very young to the season. They haven't exactly played the greatest of talent over the last 2 games for sure, and even you can argue the first game with the Saints. But I see this defense. They're the number 1 rush defense again, second year in a row so far. The pass defense is looking great. Even again, it doesn't matter what the quarterback is. They are just playing good football. They are rushing to the ball carrier, whoever catches it, whoever's running it, as a team. And that's just something that I think if it continues into the rest of the season, which that's how Todd Bowles' defense is, it's going to be very scary because they're a very fast defense. Devin White and Levante David as 2 middle linebackers. No one's running for over 100 yards on us right now.
right.
McCaffrey didn't do it. Alvin Kamara didn't do it. Those are, 2 of the top 5 running backs in the league, and it's not going to happen.
The Buccaneers finally have that. It's
Green
the
Bay's the big
Chargers.
test.
Well, it is,
Yeah.
but they have the Chargers this weekend. And just looking at this, currently the Buccaneers sit at the 25th ranked offense. They have the 4th ranked defense, 18th ranked in passing, and 27th in rushing. The Chargers, sitting at 1 and 2, have the 6th ranked offense, 8th ranked defense, and they're ranked 8 in passing and ranked 6th in rushing.
They're also 1 and 2.
They're
There's
1
And
and 2.
just played possibly the best team in NFL
played-
last week, or week
I mean-
before, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, they played the Bengals to start off with. So, I mean, let's be real. And they only won by 3 points. And then obviously they lost
Eagles
to the Chiefs
tied 'em. I
only
don't
by
wanna
3
hear about
points
the
for whatever
Bengals.
reason. And then
Hey,
and
we
then they
didn't
lost to the
lose.
Panthers. Yeah. And then they lost to the Panthers, who the Bucks beat in week 2. So with that logic, it should be an easy win, honestly.
On
I'm
paper,
pretty sure-
realistic,
on
yeah.
paper, yeah.
But on paper, just looking at rankings,
as as we are seeing, yeah, I mean, rankings right now, so early in the season, it's very hard to go off of. I think Justin Herbert's going to be a very good prospect in the future. I think he's going to have a hard time this week with the pass rush, with how the pass coverage has been.
Are we sure he's playing? Is the team doctor still there?
Man, as long as he doesn't get any more, anyone give any more injections, and but yeah. So I mean, Chris Harris Jr. is going to miss at least 3 games. So there's no, they had 3 really good corners, but Chris Harris is probably the best of them. So I don't see why this wouldn't be an easy dub for the Bucks. Now the offense, you talked about their 27th ranked offense or something like that.
25th, yeah, they're 27th in
ranked
rushing
offense.
and 18th in passing.
Yeah. So, I mean, all the tools are there, right? We discussed this, and I think they're still finding their identity. And Chris Godwin's going to be out this coming up week. He's probably going to be out 2 to 3 weeks now because he probably came back too early from his week 2 injury. So you're going to be going back to Mike Evans a lot more. He's probably going to have another 100-yard game. And if he has a game like last week, that means 100 touchdowns if he stays on par with that. And then Gronkowski, he showed up a little bit last week. He's been mostly blocking tight end, kind of a diversion. And week 2, Leonard Fournette, he was the star, and then he was kind of absent last week. So
I believe he's out injured, isn't he?
is he?
Fournette.
I haven't seen anything about Fournette.
Just looking at
See
it.
him on the injury list.
I have not seen anything about
Fournette
him.
did not participate ankle.
He's listed as questionable. As of
He's
today, so he should be in.
There's a lot that are
yeah.
hit the questionable over the last day or so.
One thing that is also going to affect the Bucks offense ranking right now is that the defense has allowed a lot of short yardage situations for them over the past 2 games. So, when you talk about offensive ranking as far as which is typically fueled by yardage, when you look at that kind of stuff, like it makes sense having a top ranked defense, being a top 5 in turnovers, if I'm not mistaken, with all the fumble recoveries and the picks that they've had against other teams. It's going to look like that offensively. And, we all know that Tom Brady, he doesn't need to be throwing for 350 yards every single game. I think he threw over 300 yards last week, if I'm not mistaken.
197, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically 300 yards.
Yeah,
right.
So he's finding his. He also didn't throw a pick last week, so there was a plus there.
It was the Broncos.
Yeah, it was the Broncos.
Did their defense even show up?
Yeah, I mean, with them having Von Miller out for the year, that was kind of and then I'm pretty sure Bradley Chubb's hurt right now too.
Yeah,
they have a laundry list of injured players, but
they did have a blocked punt though.
Who did?
And you guys did.
Oh yeah, the Bucks did.
You guys did?
Yeah. So
it's not all just the Broncos defense; it's their special teams too.
Yeah, all of it. But yeah, so I think right now, if you look at the Bucks defense, if they continue to play the way they're playing, the offense doesn't have to have 400 yards of total offense every single game, because the Bucks defense can keep the other team under 17 points, and that's how the Bucks won their first Super Bowl, was having a great defense. So why not do it again? It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing to think might happen.
I think you're really reaching.
It's just hard to see with KC and Green Bay out there. KC and Green Bay it just seems like they're a step ahead of everybody else. Aaron Rodgers is insane.
Rodgers
somehow
really
he's playing some of the best football
year
of his life right now.
Yeah. I mean, you saw what Kansas City did to the people, the team that was supposed to compete for the Super Bowl this year in Baltimore. Now, I think we did talk about this when we were playing the other day. It just seems like Kansas City is Lamar's kryptonite type of deal. I think that you know there's a gameplay, there's a mentality too. I mean, I just think that there's with Patty Mahomes and the rest of them. Like I think that they're gonna be a tough team to beat. They might lose 2 games this year, maybe.
Yeah.
Lamar, though, I mean,
Unless they run into the injury train. They run an injury train like all like the Eagles or anybody else, and
A
then
lot of other
you're
teams right now.
I
Yeah.
just I
yeah.
don't feel like Lamar is really that as well rounded of a QB as
No,
Mahomes or
no, he's not. He
No,
can't
not
read a
no.
he
defense.
not at all. So the fact that everybody, well, I'll say everybody, but just the majority of people want to throw him leading the Ravens is going to be this instant competition against Mahomes, who is the real deal and
Right.
a stacked team. It's ludicrous to me. The Ravens just aren't going to be that good. They're not going to be at that next level. They don't have the stacked depth to be at that
Oh,
next level.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I mean the thing with the Ravens is, and I listen to Colin Coward alert a lot, and he's one of my favorite people to listen to because he based all of his opinions not necessarily off stats, but what if he watches and he sees, and he is very right in the sense that when he says that if the Ravens are behind a touchdown or more, they change their game plan and it doesn't work for them because they have to rely
No,
on Lamar's arm. And while he does have a good arm,
it's not
he,
accurate.
he's not 100% accurate, and he doesn't come up big on third and longs.
He doesn't have
He
the vision.
no, he's still. I think for him, he's going to be a good quarterback in this league, and I hope he continues to develop. But he needs to develop that whole pass first mentality over run first mentality, and I think he still has a little bit of that. Especially in the situations in which his receivers don't get open within 2 seconds.
Yeah,
They're
and that
not.
shows in his sack rate too. They're giving up a sack every
Yeah.
11.4% of plays. I mean, you've been sacked 10 times already. Now,
Yeah,
whether that's from his line breaking down, from wide receivers not getting open, or him scrambling in bad positions and not getting rid of the ball, you can't have that.
yeah. The
No.
game plan for him has to be slants, flats, crosses. I mean, just very short routes in which he can get that ball out because he has a very quick release and he does have a bullet on those short routes. But if he doesn't have that, and he has to go deep every single time, if his receiver's not beating coverage by 100 miles like Marquise Brown can do, I I don't
He can't
know.
lay it in there. And I
No,
think the other side to it is he
he
doesn't.
can't throw that needle.
He gets too scared or too antsy to sit there and
Yep.
let the play develop because he's afraid he's going to get hit or he feels like he has to constantly run. And you bring
Run
up the
first
stat,
mentality, yeah.
the sack percentage, but that stat doesn't tell you how many times he's been hit because he scrambled when he shouldn't have.
Right, that's what I was saying.
I mean, that
You don't know where the breakdown was there.
Right.
They're not going to label it a sack if he's already broke out the box, and he may have got 2 or 3 yards out of it. But I mean, he may have got 2 or 3 yards instead of sitting there and waiting, letting that hole open up, and then putting that ball out there where it needed to be.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
just doesn't. Hasn't read the field very well. And even at Louisville, he didn't really read the field very well. He just relied on being able to run.
Right, it's college ball. You can get away with the running in, making it up on the fly.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people too for the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I mean, they had these high expectations, especially after week 1 and 2, which they played the Browns and the Texans.
Yeah.
I mean, the Browns we know they're what 2-1, but they're not a good team. Texans are 0-3 right now. They're not a good team.
Giving up 13 sacks of Houston.
Yeah. So, they have these 2 cupcake games, to start off the year and start off very hot and very big with 30 plus in each game. And then they face the Chiefs, who's a monster on both sides. And they really showcase what the Ravens really are, and they are run first offense between Lamar, Mark Ingram, and what's JK Dobbins, yeah.
Yeah.
That's their game, right? let's run the ball, let's kill the time on the clock, let's do some play action, throw some deep balls when they're wide open. But the second they get behind and they have to go pass, it's very hard for them to catch up because
I mean, they are
Lamar
ranked
is-
number 5 in rushing, but that doesn't get you
that's what
everywhere.
I'm saying. Yeah, it's great for time of possession. It's great for killing the clock when you're ahead. But the second you're behind, you're not relying on that number 5 rushing offense anymore.
Well, and it's great to get you, get you some yards on first and second down. But
Yep.
when every team knows that that's what you're built around, they're going to play for you to get to third down and have to throw it. They're going to roll that dice and force you to throw it on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 3, and watch you fail more times than not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure someone
They're
at ESPN
dead last
can
in
do
passing,
this.
by the way.
Oh, that makes sense. But
Dead last.
I'm sure someone at ESPN can dig up this analytic on what their conversion rate is on 3rd and long, which is considered 3rd and 5 and longer,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure someone over there is going to do that percentage one of these days, and I'm sure it's going to be very low because of how they have to run their offense.
Yeah, they got Washington, which is funny because the NFL, half of their website still calls them the Redskins, the other half calls them the football team. But anyways, they got them this week, and it's going to be another crapshoot. They are Washington, for whatever reason, is listed as the number 6 defense. That
they have a very good defense. Ron Rivera knows what he's doing on the defensive side.
But that'll be definitely an interesting game to watch. For those of us who are bored and can't watch our other games.
So yeah.
But yeah,
Cowboys lose.
Eagles didn't lose, so
Eagles did not
Yes,
lose this week.
We did not lose. We
Yes,
lost
they-
Regner though. They just put him on the IR list.
Yep. And Miles Sanders is listed as questionable too. He may not be playing this
questionable.
weekend.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
took him out of my lineup this
I'm about
week
to
because I wasn't sure.
And the
them all.
Eagles did lose. Howie and Doug are officially off the fucking Super Bowl honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
We're over it. Howie has completely whiffed on the last few drafts, and it's terrible. Like, we're 19 and, what did I see? 19 and 15, 19 and 13, something like that since winning Super Bowl. I mean, come on.
Here's my thought process on it, especially with like our O line, right? Jason Peters, I love the dude. He's been a great asset for us. But you cannot plan to run the ball as much as we have planned to try to run the ball this year and have him in there for every play. That resulted in him getting injured at the end of that game. And that sucks because now we're down another lineman possibly for the next game.
You're only half a game out at first, so
yeah, well,
the NFC East is that bad in which someone can finish 7-8-1 and possibly still win the division.
right.
Like, how do you go from being big balls Doug and running Philly to punting for the tie instead of letting Jake Elliott get out there and try to hit one from 64 when he's already hit one from 61 in his career?
Yeah. Well, enlighten us because we were talking during that game, weren't we, Gage?
Possibly.
Were we talking during that?
Yeah, I think so because we were talking about if they did kick the field goal.
Yeah. And you were like, well, they're going to get the ball on the 45-yard line or whatever. And I was like, so what? There's only going to be like 8 seconds left on the clock.
All it takes is a 15-yard pass and they're in field goal range and then they kick it. They could have lost. I mean,
I say you roll the dice on it. And with it being Doug Peterson, I am 100% surprised that he didn't because he's like kind of like Andy Reid and fuck it, we're going for it on 4th down, 4th and 4 on the goal, or whatever. For the touchdown.
You're already 0-2. 0-2 teams haven't made the playoffs in history, I believe.
Right.
Take a damn chance. Do something.
Yep.
Well, let's
give your fans a reason to still want to be fans.
As an Eagles fan, for you guys, okay, because all 3 of you are correct.
Yes.
Okay. Correct. As Eagles fans, how do you guys feel right now seeing Nick Foles
holy shit
lead a 3-0 Bears team? How are you guys feeling right now?
I'm happy for the dude. I mean,
Trubisky feels. being this highly
Right.
touted, and he's been decent. He hasn't been lights out. He hasn't been some big.
He's a good manager.
He's not gonna be
Yeah,
some big
we
rise
talked
up
about that.
star. He's not gonna lead them to a Super Bowl. Let's just be honest. It ain't gonna happen.
Nick
But
Foles is game manager plus.
to feel
Agreed.
to
But they
be
played against the Falcons.
but to be the
I
guy
mean,
that your team has bought into, and they have all these expectations and they say all these things about you,
Mhm.
and then suddenly you're not playing now because
It's what you have to say about a first round
Foles
quarterback.
Foles is
Yeah.
there, and Foles just suddenly came back.
There's a reason why they signed him.
yeah.
20 points in the
I'm-
fourth quarter to win against them. No, it is the Falcons, and they're very,
the
very
Falcons
good at
who have-
losing.
Listen,
Yes.
if you're within 28 points of the Falcons in the fourth quarter, you've got a chance.
You have a chance.
You're not wrong.
And there's a chance.
Every time.
I'm sure at this
I
point,
mean-
like ESPN and NFL Network, and it's like mid game, right? Like there's a little percentage chart of when each team's gonna win. I'm sure at this point they're starting to adjust their model for anytime Atlanta's playing to where like there's always a little like it's always over 50% for the other team, no matter what
Right.
the score is.
So the old joke for fantasy football used to be always pick up the players who are playing against the Browns or the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should start picking up the ones that are playing against Atlanta.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Hold up, let me go to my fantasy lineup real quick.
I gotta get on the waiver wire here real quick.
Right.
But
I don't really see anything else.
Falcons just can't. I mean, they can't keep it together.
No.
And it sucks because they've had some great. Well, they still have some good talent there, but it's
Yeah.
like it's all just fizzling out.
Well, it's like I said last week. Last week I said they were the best 0-2 team. I still think they're the best 0-3 team. Not that really matters much, because they are putting up points. They just can't keep a damn lead.
It's their
Right.
defense, man. I mean, it's
Their defense is. I mean, like statistically, they're not good right now. But like
No.
there's like 4 or 5 core players that have been on that defense for years, and they were good as a group. But for whatever reason, the second, the third, and fourth quarter happened, they just start losing it. And Dirk Cutter came out, today and mentioned that, his offense is not giving up and all that kind of stuff, the usual coach stuff. But it's like you got to stop making excuses at this point. You have probably the top 2 or 3, receiver in the game, Julio Jones, even though he didn't play last week. You've got Calvin Ridley, who's a star. The dude is
Yeah.
he can be a number 1 receiver on most teams right now, and he's the second
Yep.
on that team.
Yep.
And it's just like you can't keep it. Todd Gurley, he's showing a pretty good run over there right now. I mean, he had 14 carries for 80 yards last week. That's a good stat line, especially for Gurley, who's been kind of a disappointment ish last year or two.
It's been a borderline bust for the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good stat line, and he looks good. He looks healthy. But it's like you can't keep making up these excuses for your team that are blowing 15+ point leads in the fourth quarter. There's something wrong there, and I think it's partly coaching not making the proper adjustments in the second half, because obviously this is where everything's happening. They're losing in the second half. It's the Falcons. If they don't finish at least 7-9 this year, I 100% believe that they're clearing house on coaching staff. There's no reason why they shouldn't.
They're sitting with the 7th ranked offense,
Mm-hmm.
and they are number 3 in passing. They're 18th in rushing, but they still have the 2nd worst defense.
Yeah, their defense in the second half is just it goes away. It's weird. I mean, it's not
congratulations, you get to play the Packers next week.
Yeah, and you got to play the Packers, who are just on fire right now.
Packers also played 3 cupcake games. Not to take away from them, but they did have 3 cupcake games. I don't think the Saints.
So the Packers are on fire right now.
I still don't think the Saints are good based on their showing against a Tampa Bay team that was not gelled yet and still hasn't gelled.
Right.
And offensively, they were not good that game. They had 3 easy games with Detroit, Minnesota, and then the Saints. Minnesota has just shown they are just a
Yeah, but
dumpster fire as
I
well.
mean, you say Detroit, but Detroit just beat Arizona
Yeah, but Kyler Murray had
in Arizona.
yeah. Oh well, it doesn't matter where at this point because there's no
I
fans,
know,
there barely
but
any fans. You know, that's I mean that's how I see it at least to an extent. But Kyler Murray also threw for what 2-3 interceptions, and he finally had a slump of a on the passing. You know, it's eventually going to happen. We all knew that, and it just so happened to happen against the Lions. I've liked the Lions. I think the Lions, they were kind of my dark horse in the NFC North this year. Um, but obviously that's not going to happen based on how the Packers were playing, and also to an extent the Bears being 3, because I really like Matt Stafford. I wish he would just win.
or
He's-
be able to get with a team that actually can staff
feel
for him, because he
Yeah.
cannot.
He's a good quarterback.
He just does not have the players to catch the ball. I mean,
yeah, no, you're right.
He's got Kenny Galladay and then a very overrated Marvin Jones.
And
right
a crap offensive line that
Yeah.
won't run block or pass block.
now he does
No.
have Amendola over there now, but
Stop.
No.
come on now, short little white
No.
guys.
Amendola. Amendola. When was the last time he was ever good? He's always been like a very. Oh, he's a great slot receiver. He's always.
He's a
been overrated.
glorified running back. He just
Yeah,
doesn't take.
He's
he
a
doesn't sit in
extremely
the line.
poor man's Wes Welker. Always has been.
yeah,
The only thing
He played
the
with.
only reason why he was ever somewhat decent in any stat line was because he was the guy Brady could dump off to across the middle. Gronk would get doubled up, they'd hit Amendola. Amendola would get doubled up, they'd hit Gronk. It didn't matter.
He would just run all these like short crossing routes and just beat his guy out by a couple feet and then take it north.
Yeah. Dude
Just
can
like
catch
Edelman,
any ball
just like
thrown
Wes
within like
Welker.
20 yards of a seam to give him credit there. He's got some crazy
great
hands.
hands, and he's very fast, but I mean, he's not gonna win in a streak route.
No.
no.
And
Then if you can screw up
unfortunately-
having Megatron in your team, then I don't trust anything you're gonna do anyways.
This is true. Yes. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can't lose that up.
Well, I mean, they did it in the past with Barry too. So I mean,
Yeah.
they have a track record of pissing off like extremely great players.
Kyler Murray threw for
The
3
organization.
interceptions, by the way.
3 interceptions, yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he's ever had a 3 interception game. And
No.
he's a second-year player. Of course, it's eventually going to happen. And I mean, even the greats throw 3 interceptions in games. James
Yeah.
throws 6 of them if he wants to.
But that's only because Tampa Bay told him to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Risk it. Risk it.
Risk it for the biscuit. All right, cool. I'll throw deep every time.
Every time.
Every
It's got to work
Into the
eventually.
hands. Yeah.
I mean, he was 23. Was it 23 for 35?
Like 90% of the time, Jameis will throw it for an interception 100% of the time.
Oh, yeah, so
Sure.
I am really excited because I think it's going to be a true test for Green Bay and for Tampa to see if either of them are legit. And if it's a close game, then both are legit, no matter who wins. But if it's a blowout either way, I think you found your voting.
Yeah.
That is the deciding game for me.
I
on
think
both those.
Tampa Bay is the imposter.
You're the
Sus on Tampa Bay, 100%.
sus on red. I'm sus on green.
Sus on red. I mean, it's going to come down to, do they get any injury bug? I mean, we're seeing it across the league. I
Or
mean,
the
if
bug
you
bug.
lose, yeah, or the bug, yeah. What with the Titans catching the Rona, they caught
Yeah,
something.
they're only putting that game off
right?
one day, by the way.
Right.
Actually, no, they may not play
Yeah.
until Tuesday now. So 2 days.
Oh, really?
We'll have
I
Tuesday
thought
night
CBS
football.
just said that Monday they were going to go. I didn't catch the Tuesday part
I
yet.
think that was the initial plan, but who knows at this point.
Yeah, story earlier this morning was that
No.
it was still up in the air.
Monday night.
This is at like noon.
Oh yeah, like
They-
this afternoon, CBS said
They
Monday
want to
night.
make sure they're testing all the players over and over again, and they want to make sure that everybody gets X amount of tests back negative.
Yeah.
Before.
Is there any word on Minnesota possibly having to postpone yet?
I hadn't seen anything about that yet.
I haven't seen anything either.
I didn't see anything either.
Okay, I'm sure they've tested them and
Yeah.
everything. Let's see. Vikings plan to reopen the practice facility on Thursday, so I'm assuming they're okay. They probably had, no Vikings players test positive. So okay, well, there's that.
So good. They weren't hugging each other and swapping air. So that's good.
But they're also 0-3, so I mean, who really cares? It's Vikings.
Right.
Maybe it's their practice team that didn't test positive, and that's who they're gonna put on the field this week.
I hope Philly puts their practice team on the damn field.
I thought that was just their roster.
Yo,
It
shut
basically
up.
is.
At this point, it really
basically
is.
It has been for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Our starting lineup is the free agency board.
Mm, mm, mm.
Who is available to play this weekend? You want to get a 1-game contract? Come play.
Check the waiver wire, get those ad drops going. Let's go.
Oh man,
I
what
mean,
about Russell Wilson this past weekend though?
So Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. Right now, those two guys are
1
my
and 2.
MVP candidates. They're Patty Mahomes, obviously, too. But as far as storyline goes, just like the obviously Rodgers and Love storyline, right? Jordan Love being drafted, and then Aaron Rodgers saying, "Screw you guys, I still got it." And then
Yeah.
Russell Wilson just playing out of his damn mind.
130.7 rating, or RTG, and 83.6 QBR.
He's just
Yeah.
carrying this entire Seattle team to a 3-0
Yeah.
record. He's just, the things he does is just ridiculous, and I don't know how else to describe it. And I feel like he's been severely underrated the last like 3 years for what he's done, because he's been kind of overshadowed between having the good defense he's had in the past and Pete Carroll. I just feel like his greatness hasn't really been appreciated. Marshawn Lynch, beast mode.
They had a lot of drama, and it's
Yeah.
a lot of just uncertainty within the team and the direction, and it always seemed to me like they were never all on the same page. Russell's just there to win.
Yeah.
But I feel when that streak ends, or he feels like it's going to come to the point where he won't have that opportunity to win there, he's just going to say F this shit and move on. Because eventually he's going to get tired of carrying everything on his back.
Right.
I mean, up until Patty Mahomes and I think Deshaun Watson, he was the highest paid quarterback. So I don't know if that's necessarily the case, because
got a contract up. His contract is up, I think, next year, or is it the year after?
So.
He's got a contract negotiation coming up in the next couple of years.
But
that's the point I'm making, though. I mean, over the next, this season's kind of up in the air for everybody. I don't think any player is really going to count the season too highly, just because of all the stipulations and all the shit that's going on. But I mean, if next year Seattle can't be a 100% contender on the board, and he doesn't feel like the team is on point and on track to compete the same level that he is, I wonder if when his contract negotiation starts, if he starts to look 2024, so a couple years.
He's got 4 years.
What point before he starts trying to look outside the box?
I think if he truly cares about winning championships, he goes the Tom Brady route, and maybe he'll renegotiate his deal, take a little bit less money, because Russell Wilson, I mean, it's not like it's just his money as far as in his household. He's also married to Sierra, who does have money from her royalties as a musician, even though she hasn't been relevant in quite some time. But
she'll be really 37 though.
But that's what I'm saying, though. He's getting to that point where
35. I thought he.
By the time he makes his negotiations,
by the time he finishes his contract year, he'll be 35.
Right.
35. Okay.
So you start looking at, is Seattle going to be on board with me? Still hasn't had that opportunity. Hasn't made it that far.
Right.
He keeps having those issues. They keep coming up short. So I mean, if you're going to continue to play that,
that's what happens when you fucking pass instead of handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch for the easy touchdown.
True.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
but I mean, he's playing phenomenal football still. He's still on top of the
Yeah.
world. For
I
being the
mean,
short
he's
guy that he
spreading
is.
the field. He had 9 different receivers catching a ball.
He has
I mean,
10
obviously-
passes of 20 plus yards, 3
Yeah.
of 40 plus. Like, you know,
Yeah.
He makes plays, man, and he just
Yep.
he doesn't stop grinding, and quarter to quarter to quarter to quarter, all 4 quarters, he's in it 110%, and he is the full life of the Seahawk team. And I think if they can finish at least 12-4, which they're definitely on track on to do, he can get MVP over Aaron Rodgers and over the Chiefs, even if both of those teams finish perfect, because of the limitations around him. He has an okay running game. Chris Carson just got hurt. He's probably not going to play for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
His wide receivers are DK Metcalf, who's probably the best one on there, and then you got Tyler Lockett, who's just a burner. And his tight end options, his best tight end's old Greg Olson. You know, it's not like he has this myriad of weapons around him like Mahomes does, and then to a lesser extent, Aaron Rodgers. You know, Aaron Rodgers has Aaron Jones. He has Devontae Adams when he's healthy, and the younger players, MVS. He's Vontae Scouting.
Mhm.
He's playing pretty well. And then what's it? Lazard.
He did last year, that's for sure.
Was
He
it
could
Anthony
catch
Lazard or
cold.
whatever? He had a career game last week. You know, obviously that's due to Rodgers just elevating that dude's game, but I think there's a lot more against Russell Wilson, and it creates for a better storyline for him to win MVP because of all those hurdles. Both those guys though, they're doing phenomenal football. They're playing great. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season goes for those guys.
It's definitely gonna make for some really good football coming up here soon, though. But we got
Josh Allen's going to come out of nowhere and win the MVP over both of them.
jeez, this kid, man, like just out of nowhere. There's another. What was it? Another 400-yard game, like 3 in a row now.
Yeah. He has a 124 pass or a 124 rating and a 711 completion percentage. He's sitting second right now in passer rating behind Russell and ahead of Aaron.
That's insanity. I mean, considering it's Buffalo, but
Yeah. 18 passes of 20 plus. Like, he's not just throwing little dinkers here and there either.
He just got a cannon of an arm. He's probably got
Yeah.
top 3, arm in the game right now. Between him, Stafford, and Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. It's Buffalo, so none of us buy it yet. But if he keeps it up, then it could get interesting in a few weeks.
well, it's
They
like
got
buying that. It's like buying that used
Kansas
car.
City coming up in 3 weeks.
It's like buying that used car. It looks good. It might run good, but at some point, something's gonna break.
Yeah, the second they run into Kansas City, I think their true test is can they beat New England? Can they beat Bill Belichick and Cam Newton and whatever mastery they have going on over there to be 2-1, despite everyone thinking they're going to be trash?
I mean,
Well, luckily they have the Chiefs on the 15th of next month. Then they have a bye week against the Jets, and then they play the Patriots. I mean, we'll learn a lot in that 3-week stretch there.
that's gonna be interesting for sure. But you got all these 3-0 teams, though. I mean, obviously the Steelers game is. They're set for Monday night. Hopefully they can actually play. They're playing the Titans, so clearly they should win that. They're sitting with number 2 defense. Still worried about Big Ben though. That injury recovery is definitely not. He can't keep slinging.
It looks good.
He does. He
good,
looks great, but I mean that's a worrisome injury, because
Yeah.
as the season goes on, what happens then? And then they can't rely on old dent in the head.
Mason Rudolph.
I mean, obviously, you're the Chiefs, Seattle, and the Packers are going to be your top of the list there, the cream of your crop for your 3-0 teams. But The rest of it's kind of a toss-up because, I mean, again, who they played.
Yeah, the Giants, the Broncos, the Texans. I mean, and their biggest one was over the Giants by 10 points. The rest were all one-score games.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Titans, I still think they're overrated.
I mean, they barely beat Minnesota.
Yeah.
31-30.
I mean,
Minnesota
I
went
really
off.
Those
can't
are
say
last-minute
much.
kick, too.
We tied with
Yeah.
the Bengals, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think if you had to rank them, Chiefs 1 right now, 2 be Seahawks, Packers 3. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm going to change that. Packers 2, Seahawks 3, just because of defense. Packers have a better defense than Seahawks do right now. And then you probably go Bills, Steelers, Bears.
and then the Titans as also ran.
Nah.
Sounds about right. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't
I mean,
bring
Yeah,
much.
that's dead on where I was at.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
we all know the Bears are.
Cruising for a bruising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Bears are the Bears.
The Bears.
They'll figure it out and throw it in the dumpster.
Right. The dumpster fire will start soon. So
They're the Falcons
let's put it this
of
way:
Chicago,
they
right?
have a true test this weekend.
Oh,
I
stop.
think again. What? Indianapolis?
You're right. Let's talk about your
They're-
other bandwagon team.
No, I'm telling. Like I know
Have you ever
about
moved
the
out of
team
your
because
area,
I live
Gage?
here. They're playing against Indianapolis. I mean, it's a 2-1 team, but
Yeah.
they've played against some decent teams. So we'll see. I mean, not
Colts-
the best teams.
Colts are sitting with the #1 defense, but they are out of the top 10 in every other stat.
Oh yeah,
The Bears
Hands down.
aren't anywhere near the top 10 in any of their stats.
right. That's why I'm saying I think that if Philip Rivers can not revert to old Philip Rivers and throw a bunch of fucking interceptions, then I think that they'll be able to handle Chicago. It'll be interesting to see. I know that there's a lot of people here because we're so close to Chicago. There's a lot of Chicago fans, and obviously with the Colts being originally Baltimore team, they were Bears fans. They grew up Bears fans before, So, and then just kind of family reasons why. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that Indy can give them their first loss though easily.
I don't know. Not if Foles is playing.
You're right.
Foles is
I'm a
starting.
Foles fan. I am a Foles fan. You're right, and he deserves a start. And I think he probably
Hey,
should have been the starter from the very beginning.
I'm just saying,
but-
Foles is one of the few starting quarterback caliber, players in the league right now that can actually catch the ball for a touchdown. Just saying. It's proven.
True.
Tom
Yep.
Brady can't even do it. So
He can't.
Nope.
Nope. But Mike Evans will catch that 1-year pass for a touchdown all day.
Oh man, it's
Yeah.
definitely interesting.
else?
Sick. What is this about NASCAR going dirt racing? I completely
Oh,
missed
you haven't
this.
seen that?
Haven't missed it at all.
Oh, yeah. NASCAR added 2 new
Is
road
Tony
tracks,
Stewart
and then
coming
they're-
back?
I wish.
We're doing that here in Indy next year. The-
But yeah, this year, next year, the only dirt race is Bristol. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, they're covering the paved track in dirt, and they're going NASCAR racing on it.
yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Um.
Why not take them out to what was the one, the trucks in that ran out? The short track. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, I gotta look it up.
Sorry, I don't usually watch cars go in circles.
I
don't.
typically
You know,
don't
my
either. But
father-in-law knows
See,
a
when
ton
I
about
saw that
NASCAR.
dirt track
Indy
stuff,
track.
and I'm like, yes, I am there for it.
dirt track's fun.
Dirt track
That
is fun.
That is
Very-
always fun to watch. But
Yeah.
I'm still gonna be disappointed if Tony Stewart doesn't come back for dirt track racing.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
Oh,
Trust me,
NASCAR
he's living
racing
the
was
nice
70s.
life here in Indiana. He's chilling.
Yeah, but he's got
but
such a
they
great
did-
track record.
right.
Kenny
They
Gibbs
did
twice.
Don't walk on the
change
track
the-
like an idiot.
They changed the Brickyard 400 from the oval to being the road track here next year.
Yep.
Which will be interesting to see because they're running an IndyCar series the day before. I think it's IndyCar or Formula. I can't remember what they said. And then they're running the NASCAR on the road course. So I'm like, where I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Because I mean, it's all about with Indy cars, it's all about being able. I mean, just speed at
Right.
quickness. Whereas NASCAR, it's sustained speed, right? I mean, yeah, they're
No,
braking
it's
and whatever.
not
but-
anymore. What are you talking
It'll
about?
be
They have to
it'll be
stop and take a
interesting.
break and go potty, and they make
Yeah.
coffee and have tea,
Right.
and then they
Right.
sit down and they decide their points, and then they get back in the car and go run again for a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm
and
not a
then
big
come.
fan. I'm not a
Yeah,
big fan of the point thing.
The
fuck all that.
stage thing is
Fuck
terrible.
all that shit.
Take it
Yeah.
back to Winston Cup days.
Yes. Yes.
Bump and rub.
It'll be interesting also to see what layout they go with at Circuit of the Americas. So going down there, go road course racing also.
Right.
But quick scores here. Miami is losing 51-43.
Shock.
5:36 left in the second. Yankees did come back. It's top of the fourth. They're up 5-4, 2 on. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. Glad to see they finally get some runs on the board. Games this week. Looks like tomorrow we start with somebody and somebody. Oh, that's Denver and New York.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
They've elected in Denver to send out the local high school, like number one high school
Which
team
one?
to play in their seed. In Denver, I don't know. I don't know which school was the number one school.
The chess team's
Rocky
gonna
Mountain.
go play.
Let's just say it's Rocky Mountain High or something.
Yeah, sure. South Park.
That's right.
South Park High is sending their football team. Did you see they put the South Park cutouts in the stands?
Yeah, that was great. That was great. I enjoyed that. I saw it because obviously we played Denver, so that was in the
Yeah.
pregame. That was
Yeah.
funny.
The college is a dumpster fire weekend across the board as well. There's just not. I can't believe that they ranked Central Florida number 11. Just gonna say they have not played anybody
Undefeated.
Oh Jesus!
until they play somebody.
16 times national champs. Just
Hey,
ask them.
can you make just get that plaque and put it behind you so that way you can show
Yeah.
off your prowessness from Central Florida.
I don't even like the Knights guys. My college is
No one
literally
does.
their rival or their rival. So
Oh yeah, you're a Bulls guy. So
I'm a Bulls guy. I just live in Orlando now.
yeah.
You got Florida and South Carolina, Pitt, NC State. I mean,
Which USF lost last week.
couple ranked games. I can't believe Texas only lost one position in the ranks. They dropped to number 9.
Okay. Here's the real question.
They got TCU this week, by the way.
Will Jacksonville State beat FSU is the question.
Yes. For the first time ever, they will win against Florida State. It's gonna happen this week.
Right.
I'm gonna put money on that one.
I got a question.
What's the line on it?
100%.
Kansas State. Kansas State beats the number 3 team in the country, technically, or whatever it was. Wasn't Oklahoma considered number 3?
Mhm.
And they can't even get into the top 25 on that.
I mean, they lost.
They lost to a G5 school the week before.
So what? It was
They
the
lost
first
to
game of the
Arkansas
year.
State Red Bulls.
We'll see.
Nah,
Wherever those guys are from.
But yeah, Texas
Sun Belt.
has got TCU this week. That's going to be interesting to see if they can come back after.
I'm still putting money down for K-State to win that game because, I mean, they helped me out this week. So
Kansas is playing OSU being ranked.
The best game looks like Alabama and Texas A&M.
And A&M has a good shot.
yeah.
They do have a good shot. I mean, Alabama, they're still stacked. It is still Saban, but at the same time, it is Jimbo, and Jimbo knows a lot about Saban. So
Don't count out UNC at Boston College either. That'll be a fun game.
yeah,
for a little
Boston
bit.
College is still they're not going to hold out. I think NC's gonna. Matt Brown is just he's got it still, but it's still early. I mean, I need to see him up against Clemson.
Auburn, Georgia is the night game.
Yep, Auburn, Georgia.
That's also a
Georgia's
very
still
good
not
game.
really tested, so that's going to be an interesting one. LSU is going to lose to Vanderbilt this week. That's going to be another good
Stop.
one.
Stop.
Right. Right.
But yeah, we got some
Put
good
it in
ones
the
this week.
books.
The Eagles are going to lose to San Francisco. We can go ahead and put that one down. I already got 49ers in my defensive lineup.
Nick Mullins is going to come out and just go. He's gonna look like Joe Montana. Joe Montana.
Montana.
How do we feel about Houston against Minnesota, though?
Minnesota's gonna win.
You think?
With what they did against Tennessee last week, yes.
I'm not sold. I mean, they've
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook rushed for 185 yards last weekend, 14 carries.
which was a good comeback, that's for sure.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson. They finally put him out on the outside, and he has 7 catches for 175 yards as a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about Justin Jefferson, okay? Because he should be an Eagle.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Arizona-
our subject right now.
Arizona should pick up a win on Carolina. That shouldn't be too hard. We know Seattle's going to beat Miami. The other one that I see that's going to be an interesting game, obviously, is going to be Buffalo and Vegas. That's going to be a good test for both sides.
I think
Yeah.
Buffalo will come away with it pretty easily.
Yeah, Buffalo. Yeah.
The line on it's only 3, but I don't see Buffalo losing that. Josh Allen has just been a monster.
He's putting up the numbers, and I don't think the Raiders' defense is going to be anywhere near stout enough to slow him down. I mean, Raiders are coming in ranked 27th in defense, obviously.
They only have 2 sacks on the year. It's by one guy.
I mean, he's working hard, though. He's
Yeah.
really putting in all the
He's
effort.
putting in all the effort.
He's making it
Maximum
happen
effort.
on that side of the ball. I mean, Raiders are pretty well even as far as their offense and everything else, but Bills are sitting at
I'm
number 2 in
excited for this
passing.
Patriots Chiefs game. Patriots and Chiefs is gonna be a good one. I think. Bill Belichick, can he stop Patty Mahomes?
I don't think so because they've got too
Nope.
many. There's too many weapons on that offense, and KC does have a good defense.
Yep.
They do have a solid defense.
Realistically, can anybody stop Patrick Mahomes? Your easier bet is just try to keep up with him rather than try to stop him.
Well, no one's gonna stop him. Can you slow
Exactly.
him down
So you got to
enough?
try to
Right.
keep up. Yeah.
Can you slow him down enough in which your guy can play almost similar?
Right.
It'll be interesting to see. We got a lot going on this weekend, though. It's going to be fun. Definitely a lot of good baseball games going on as well.
This has been other than obviously COVID being a terrible thing, having 3 different sports having playoffs currently and the start of the NFL. So much sports going on. It's like every day there's a new storyline. Every day there's like great games. It's been a fun 2 months with this stuff, honestly.
And it's
Did
good.
I was gonna say I did see something the other day where they were saying that the NBA season's possibly pushed back to starting in January now.
I was hoping they're gonna do like a start in late December, like Christmas games.
Yeah. I think that would be.
I mean, they got to have some time to kind of.
Well, I mean, they gotta have a draft for all the
Yeah.
players, and then they gotta they still gotta. They did do somewhat of a training, or what was it, draft camp and everything like that, and I don't know. I would say probably Christmas time. They get back. They give them a little bit of a break, let some people heal up and everything, and then probably like mid-November, come back and start training again, and then probably mid-December start playing. But
We can hope.
Somebody was saying January, so.
But the thing is, if it's going to be that short of a notice, I mean, are they going to be back in the bubble? Are they actually finally going to be able to play back in their own stadiums? Or are they going to be? I mean, it's going to open up a lot.
I think they've seen what the MLB and NFL has done. They know they could go city to city and have their people go home and not have to deal with the whole bubble issue.
Yeah,
But
if you
did
can
the
keep
bubble make for better TV though? I honestly haven't watched a single NBA game.
if you can
because
keep your players from going out and going to Jimmy John's or any
or
number
those
of
Atlanta strip clubs.
Strip
oh,
clubs,
the strip
limit
clubs.
Pepperloo.
If you can
Yeah.
keep your players on that leash and get them to buy into, hey, we got to just suck this up and just do what we got to do. It may not be the most fun thing in the world. We can't live it up like we dreamed of. And we're just here to win or to play to win to get paid.
I think what you have to do is, especially since the NBA season, the MLB season, all are longer seasons compared to like football. You got to shorten the season.
Yep.
Which I think was a great thing for baseball, only doing 60 games this year. And you got to shorten the season. What is basketball? 80,
86, I think.
yeah, somewhere in the 80s. Shorten it up to 40, 50 games, and then in the playoffs do another bubble. But we'll see. I mean, things can change when you get to December. I mean, football is starting to let more and more people in. Florida, for whatever reason, has opened up the state. So
Florida man doesn't give a
Florida
fuck.
don't give a fuck.
Florida said, "All right, guys, theme parks, normal operations. Restaurants, retail, normal operations."
The thing with the NBA, if they do start in December, January, like they're already struggling ratings wise. Can you imagine
Yeah.
them being up against college basketball and March
Yeah.
Madness? The NBA would get destroyed.
I mean, it kind of
Like,
already does through that time frame.
I
I
mean,
mean,
'cause they're already in that like time frame. They run at the same time anyway, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
really be anything different.
it's just that's when the start of their season would be when the end of the. But they haven't even really. I mean, that's one thing I've been looking for is like, okay, yeah, they've said they're going to go forward with college basketball, but they haven't said are they pushing anything back or are they going to start on time.
We had a football season. I think basketball season is going to be dead on time. I
Yeah.
think it'll be
No, I
shortened
agree.
schedules. It'll probably be just conference ball and maybe 5 out of conference games, something like that. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting next couple months here.
You're not going to have, as far as college goes, you're not going to have all the exhibition games and all those series and all that crap that starts off at the beginning of the year. It's
Yes and no, because ESPN already has the tournament schedule down for, I think, Orlando.
That
They're
doesn't mean
basically-
they won't cancel it.
No doubt, but they're at least looking at still trying to pull them off is the thing.
right. Yeah,
So
but
whether
I
that
mean,
be the
if they do all that,
ACC
though,
Big Ten Challenge type things or what they're doing.
yeah, I mean, and then you're back to another bubble scenario, but now you're in college doing that.
Yeah, I mean the thing with the college game for basketball, colleges in general with sports, right? We all know that they don't make a lot of money outside of their football programs, with the exception for basketball for your blue bloods.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're talking to a Kansas fan and a Syracuse
Yeah,
fan. We make
yeah.
tons of money.
Like I said, with the exception of your blue bloods.
Because
I
they
can't
can't
buy
win
a
a
home
a
Kansas
football game.
game ticket for less than a few $100, and that's up in the rafters.
Yeah, but I'm other than those 5
Yeah.
to 7 schools, I mean,
Yeah.
no one else really cares about their basketball program, unless for whatever reason they go on this miracle run in March Madness. But that's how the whole thing is when you
Case
have
in
so
point.
many games.
Case in point, Leonard Hamilton has been at FSU as the basketball coach for how long have they been playing basketball? Probably like 90 years. He's been there the whole time, it seems like.
The whole time.
And he's
They've
never
had another coach.
ever won a national championship. They've
His
never
contract
made
just
it to the
says yes.
finals. They've never made it to the finals. They've never, I mean, they can't get past,
They
the
had a
second
good squad
round.
a few years ago.
You guys
had
made a
one
couple
last year.
Sweet 16s, haven't
Yeah,
you?
it was last
They,
year.
they made the 60 once or twice, but they never can seem to get past
But yeah,
that.
no, they couldn't.
But they keep
Like,
him
they
there.
were a pick to
They
go
don't
further,
care.
But
Just let him stay. Mike Martin coached our baseball team for 30 some odd, almost 40 years. Never won a national championship. Could not get past the second round because, I mean, just could not finish out. They didn't care.
No one cares about those programs.
But
Baseball
you
doesn't make
have
money.
one bad year in football and you're out.
Willie Taggart, bye.
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 He didn't
And
have
he-
a bad year. His was straight nightmarish.
I mean, he was the coach for.
They had to
both
make the diversity
again, so-
hire, and he made himself out to be great and had said all the right things and was nowhere near ready for what Jimbo had left. Dumpster
No.
fire. Players who didn't buy in and didn't care. And then they opened up the portal and everybody wanted to go. But yeah, we got some fun this week. We got a lot of good games coming up. It's going to be a interesting conversation next week, seeing how the playoffs are going, and I don't know. We may have some sweeps.
Oh, we're definitely gonna have some sweeps.
See how the Lakers can pull this off, if they can.
The Buffalo Blue Jays will come in with the reverse sweep and shock us all.
Good old Buffalo, and then they'll tank right afterwards, in typical Buffalo fashion. But all right,
Telling you,
guys.
Lakers in 5.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Nope. All right, guys. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna see you guys next Tuesday.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Catch y'all later.
Peace.
All right, everybody. Appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. That is week 3 here in the Man Cave. We're gonna go ahead and call it. We'll be back Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern. If you are in the pick'em, the football picks running here, go ahead and get your picks in before tomorrow night. Remember, we are doing a big prize pool at the end of the season, so we got a few people in there. There's still plenty of time to catch up. You know, there's now that college is officially in full swing, those games are going to help be a big pickup for everybody. So, but yeah, appreciate everybody for hanging out, and we will see you guys next week.